Knowledge check 4, question number 3. So this question looks a little bit different, and yes, at the start, when you first look at it, might seem a bit confusing because we've never really seen this before. We've seen before fractions minus another fraction. We've seen a mixed number minus a fraction. We've seen an improper fraction subtract a fraction, but we haven't seen a whole number subtract another fraction. There's a couple different ways of doing these. So one way that you might have done, you might have taken your 8 and turned it into a fraction or a mixed number. You might have made it 8 and 8 out of 8 subtract 7 out of 8. And you can do that. That's what I wanted you to try to kind of do with this question. Use what you know from before, from previous knowledge, to try to think outside of the box and see if you can answer these 4 questions. So yes, like I said, you might have taken the 8 and turned it into a mixed number or a fraction that's equivalent to 8. But what you could also do in kind of a quicker way that I'm going to show you is think of something like this. Think of working backwards. So if you were given a simple math question and you were asked to go 10 subtract 3 equals what? What would you do? You go 10 minus 3 equals 7. But what is that really asking? It's asking you in a way, when I say work backwards, is well, what do you need to add to 3 to get to 10? You need to add 7. So I'm going to pause there for a sec and let you think of that. It's just thinking of the question in a different way. It's called working backwards. So 10 minus 3, yes, equals 7, a simple question like we said. But thinking backwards, we thought to ourselves, what did I have to do to get the 3 to the 10? Well, I needed 7. Okay? We'll leave it at that because that's how I'm going to show you how to do these 4 questions. I'm going to show you how to work backwards. So we go in 3a. We have our 8 wholes subtract 7 over 8. Well, just like we did in that little example I gave us, 10 minus 3, we needed 7 to get to the 10. What do I need as a fraction to add to this to get to the 8? Like, what am I missing here to get from this fraction to 8? Well, I'm missing 1/8 because to get this fraction here to 1 full whole, I'm missing 1 up here. I'm missing 1/8 in 7 out of 8 to get to a whole. So I want you to see that first. And then if I completed that, what am I then missing? Well, I'm then missing 7 full numbers. And how we think of that is, well, if I added 1 over 8 to 7 over 8, I'd have 8 over 8. So I'd have 1 whole. I then add that 1 whole to 7, and that gives me 8. So what I was missing was 7 wholes and 1/8 to make these two sides kind of balance. Okay? So yes, this is our answer here. You might have done this in a different way, like I said. You might have changed this 8 into a mixed number, such as 8 and 8 over 8, and then subtracted the 7 over 8, but we'll get to the same answer. And as we go through B, C, and D, hopefully you'll kind of start to pick up on this working backwards. So let's look at B. I have 9 subtract 2 over 5 equals what? Well, I'm going to ask myself again, what do I need to add on to this 2 out of 5 to get to my 9? Well, I am missing 3 out of 5 to get it to a whole. And then that will give me 1 whole by putting those together. And then to get to 9, I'm going to need 8 more. So 8 and 3/5. Looking at C, I have 7 subtract 5 over 9. What am I missing here? Well, 4/9 are missing. I would need 4 more in my numerator to give me 9 out of 9. And then I would have 1 whole, and I am then missing my 6 wholes to get to that 7. So answer there, 6 and 4/9. And last one, D. We'll slow it down on this one a bit again. I have 4 subtract 1 over 6. So to get to that 4, I'm going to take away 1/6 from that 4. Working backwards, I'm going to ask myself, what do I have to add to 1/6 to get to 4? Well, I need to add 5 out of 6, because that's going to give me 1 whole. When I add this to this, will give me 1 whole number, and then I am only missing 3, because then I only have to add on 3 more to give me 4 and 1/6. So we then have both sides balance. 4 subtract 1/6 is 3 and 5/6. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you 1 mark for each question for your answer, and 1 mark on the other side if you have shown me what process you used to get to that answer. Because like I said, it's harder kind of with this online learning to see the process you used right now, but if you did something and that worked for you and you got to the same answer over here, that's okay with me. Also, if you'd like to maybe share some of the things you did in tomorrow's online Zoom meeting, that would be wonderful as well. Okay, so number 3, each of them is out of 2, so 2, 4, 6 out of 8 marks. And that video is number 3. Next video will be questions 5 and 6.